electric current. In today's module 4, we will learn about force acting on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, Fleming's left hand rule, and electric motor. So let's begin. In the previous three modules, we studied energy transfer in an electric circuit, and we studied that electrical energy can be converted into heat energy. And in heating effects of electric current, we learned that heat energy produced by electricity can be used to make different useful devices and appliances like bulb, heater, electric iron, geysers, etc. In magnetic effects of electric current, we studied how a current carrying conductor of different shapes can produce magnetic field around it. We studied it yesterday. You can see a straight current carrying conductor. It develops a magnetic field around it, and all the magnetic field lines, they are concentric circles around the straight conductor. Then we studied about the circular loop. In circular loop, you can see how the magnetic field of lines, they are arranged themselves in concentric circles around the circular loop. And in then solenoid, we saw how the magnetic fields, they are produced around the magnet, and we found that the solenoid and the bar magnet, they have similar magnetic field. Now, let's begin our today's topic. In order to understand force acting on current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, we need to revise Oester's experiment that we studied in our previous lecture. In Oester's experiment, we studied that when a current carrying conductor, when a electricity is passed in a conductor, it develops a magnetic field around it. And this magnetic field, it is able to deflect the magnetic needle placed nearby it. In other words, what we can say that a current carrying conductor can push a magnetic field. You can see that when the current is flowing in the conductor, it exerts a force on the needle, and because of which the needle, it deflects, it moves. So we can say that current carrying conductor, it exerts force on the magnetic needle. And we have already studied Newton's third law, that is, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. That means if we are going to follow the same rule here, Newton's third law here, if we are going to follow it, so it says that if the current flowing through the conductor, if it develops a magnetic field around it, and because of that magnetic field, the magnetic needle experiences a force. So in the same way, in reaction, the magnetic needle, it also exert a force on the current carrying conductor, right? It should also exert force on the conductor. So in this topic, we are going to learn about this reaction force exerted by the magnetic needle, that how a magnet can exert force on a current carrying conductor. So do you remember how a current carrying conductor is able to push the magnetic field? This is because a current carrying conductor develops a magnetic field around it. Because we studied a current carrying conductor, it acts like a magnet. Why it acts like a magnet? Because it develops a magnetic field around it, and that magnetic field, it exerts force on the magnetic needle. Similarly, this magnetic needle, because it is it is made up of magnet, it also have a magnetic field around it. So this magnetic field, it also exerts force on the conductor, right? So based on this, we are going to study how a force is developed on a current carrying conductor when it is kept in a magnetic field. So for this, we need to carry out an experiment. So what are the materials required for this? You can see here on the screen, a flexible copper wire, stand, electric cell, horseshoe magnet with a strong magnetic field. So what we have to do, we have to just set up the materials required in the given setup. As you can see, there is a one stand. On this stand, a horseshoe magnet is attached. It is holded in a fixed position. And on the other stand, you can see there is a flexible copper wire. You can see this flexible copper wire, which is shown by the position A here. This is a flexible copper wire, and it is connected with a key here and then to a battery. And then in this way, the circuit is completed. This is the circuit diagram. Now see what the observation we are going to observe. So when current is not flowing through the wire, you can see if the switch is off, then current will not flow in the circuit, and at that condition the wire it remains straight at position A. You can see this position A. But when the current starts flowing from top to bottom position, or you can say, as you can see here, if the current starts flowing from this side, from the positive end of the battery, if the current flows from top to bottom, you can see the direction of current here from top to bottom. In that case the wire bends and comes into position C. The wire it bends and it comes to the position C. And if the direction of current is reversed, how can we reverse the direction of current? By changing the terminals of the battery. So if the positive terminal of the battery is this side, just invert the battery, keep the positive terminal on the right hand side and negative terminal on the left hand side. As we know that the long line it shows the positive end and the smaller line it shows the negative end. So just by reversing the ends of the battery we can reverse the direction of current in the circuit. So if we will change the positive terminal towards this side, the current will start flowing from bottom to top, as you can see here. So but when the current starts flowing bottom to the top, the wire it bends towards the B position. You can see the B position. So this is the observation. So from this observation let's see why this happens, why the wires they get bends. Okay, so what is the direction of magnetic field? It is very important. As we know that in the magnet the direction of magnetic field it is always from north to south direction, and the conductor is placed between that magnetic field. When current is not flowing in the circuit, there will be no force exerted on the conductor and it will not deflect, it will not show any kind of motion. But as the current it starts flowing, as you can see here in this picture, if the current starts flowing from top to bottom, you can see the current is flowing from top to bottom. In that case the force it is exerted on the conductor and it moves to the position C. But if the direction of current is reversed, the direction of current is reversed from top to bottom, sorry, from bottom to top, the force exerted on the conductor is in the position B. So what we can say that the conclusion of this experiment is that when current flows through a conductor in presence of a magnetic field, a force is exerted on the conductor. The magnetic field generated by the magnet it exerts a force on the conductor, and because of which the conductor it moves away from its original position depending upon the direction of the current flowing in the conductor. If the direction of current is reversed, the direction of force exerted it also gets reversed. Understood? So if the direction of current is reversed, the direction of force it also gets reversed. And if the poles of the magnets are kept reversed, the direction of force it will also get reversed. You can see here in the previous picture, here this side it is the north pole and this side is the south pole. If we reverse the direction, if we keep the south hand this side and north hand this side, the direction of magnetic field will also change. So the direction of magnetic field if it is changed, then also it will change the direction of the force. So we can say that the direction of force it depends on direction of current as well as the direction of magnetic field. So we can say that if we are going to change the direction of current, then also the direction of force will change. And if we are going to change the direction of magnetic field, then also the direction of force will change. Correct? Now, moving on to the other part. When the current carrying conductor is kept perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Now, as I just told, that the force exerted on a conductor it depends on the direction of the current flowing in the circuit and direction of the magnetic field. So along with that it also depends on the angle of the direction of magnetic field and the current. So if you observe the figure here, you can see from north and south pole the magnetic lines always originate from north to south pole. So the green line it shows the direction of magnetic field. So when the current carrying conductor is kept perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, perpendicular means it is making 90-degree angle with the magnetic field. You can see if the current carrying conductor, it is represented by yellow line. If the angle between this current carrying conductor and the magnetic field, it is 90-degree, that means they are perpendicular to each other. In that case, the maximum force is experienced by the conductor. On the other hand, if you can see on in the other picture, the green magnetic field lines and yellow color is for the conductor. If both are kept parallel to each other, that means the angle between magnetic lines of forces and the current carrying conductor is zero. In that case, zero force is experienced by the conductor. That means the conductor will not experience any kind of force. So for 1 mark kind of questions, these two things are very important for you. So keep it in mind that the maximum force is experienced when the angle between the current carrying conductor and magnetic field is 90-degree, or you can say both are perpendicular to each other. But when the current carrying conductor and the magnetic field both are parallel to each other, in that case there will be zero force experienced by the conductor. And between 0 to 90-degree, the conductor will experience the force, but it will not maximum. So you have to remember the maximum force and the zero force. Zero force when the magnetic field and current carry conductor, they are parallel to each other. Maximum force when they are perpendicular to each other. Understood? Now, force experienced by the conductor, it depends on three factors. First one is the current flowing in the conductor. Second, strength of the magnetic field, it is represented by capital V. Then length of the conductor. The and if we are going to represent it with the help of a formula, you can say that the force experienced by a conductor, it depends, or you can say it is directly proportional to the strength of the magnetic field, to the current, and to the length of the conductor. So you can remember it with the formula. Force is directly proportional to bill. Everyone can remember easily bill. B for magnetic field, I for current, L for length of the conductor. That means if the current is more, force will be higher. Maximum force will be experienced by the conductor. And if the strength of magnetic field is strong, force experienced by the conductor will also be strong. And it also depends on the length of the conductor. Longer the length of the conductor, more force will be experienced by the conductor. Now, as we studied in the previous chapter, that the direction of magnetic field can be found out with the help of uh, right hand thumb rule when we know the direction of the current. In the same way, there is a Fleming's left hand rule which is used to find out the direction of force if we know the direction of current flowing in the conductor and the magnetic field. So according to Fleming's left hand rule, the left hand thumb, index finger, and the middle finger, they are stretched so as to be perpendicular to each other. So you can see this is the thumb, this is your index finger. Index finger is also called as forefinger. Then this is the middle finger, it is also called as central finger. So this central finger, it shows the direction of current, or you can say the middle finger. So how you will remember which finger shows which direction? So current and center finger both start with C, CC. Central finger, it shows the direction of current. So you can remember with CC. Central finger shows the direction of current. Then you can see the index finger, it shows the direction of magnetic field. So as I told you that this index finger, it is also called as forefinger. So you can remember here FF. F for forefinger, F for field. Which field? Magnetic field. It will help you to learn the rule. And this thumb, it shows the direction of force, in which direction the conductor will move. Sometimes in place of force, motion word is also written, direction of motion. So the direction in which force is exerted, in the same direction the motion of conductor will take place. So don't get confused between the word motion and force. Both are, you can say, synonyms here. So in the direction in which the force is exerted, in the same direction the conductor will move. Okay, so it will show the motion of the conductor. So you can see here, index finger, it shows the direction of magnetic field. Index finger, or you can say forefinger, middle finger or central finger, it shows the direction of current, and thumb, it shows the direction of force. You can see here in the picture, the magnetic field, it is from north to south pole. So the magnetic field is shown in the direction of this finger, and the direction of current, it is shown by the central finger. You can see this is the conductor, and it shows the direction of current here, and the thumb, it shows the direction of force exerted. And you have to keep in mind that all these three fingers, they should be perpendicular to each other. That means the angle between these two fingers, it should be 90-degree, and the angle between these two fingers also should be 90-degree. Okay, now let's see in our experiment how we have to use our Fleming's left hand rule to find out the direction of force. As you can see, in that experiment we saw that when there was no current flowing in the circuit, the wire, or you can say the conductor was at position A. But when the current starts flowing in the circuit, from top to bottom, it moves to the position C. But how we can use the left hand rule here? You can see here, this is the magnet, and red end it shows north pole, and purple end it shows south pole. So the direction of magnetic field will be from north to south pole. So your finger, forefinger, it is showing the direction of magnetic field. The finger is going inside from north pole to the south pole, and the direction of current is from top to bottom. So you can see the central finger, it shows the downward direction. In that case, your force is exerted towards the right hand side. That's why you can see here the conductor, it moves towards the right hand side, or you can say the force is exerted on the conductor right hand side. In the same way, when the direction of current is reversed, or you can say when the direction of current is from bottom to top, in that case you have to adjust your hand. The magnetic field again from the north to south direction, you can see north to south direction, it is going inside the screen, and current is, it is flowing upside. Current, it is flowing upside, and in that case the force is exerted on the left hand side on the conductor, and that's why the conductor, it moves towards the left. Okay, so this is all about Fleming's left hand rule. Now you can see some images of some electrical appliances here on the screen, like electric fan, mixer, washing machine. Then here you can see water pump. So as you all know that all these devices, they work on electricity, right? In the previous session we studied about heating effect of electric current, and we saw lots of devices working on heating effect of electric current. So when the electricity passes through them, they generate electricity, like a heater, geyser, bulb. But here also we are observing that these are electrical devices, but they are working on heating effect of electricity. No, they are not generating heat, but what kind of energy they are generating? So what you can see here, the electrical energy, it is converted into some other form of energy. Which form of energy? You can see in fan, we can see rotation of the blades. In the mixer also, if you observe them carefully, the blades inside the mixer, they rotate. In machines also, there is a base inside the machine which rotates. In motor also, this is water pump. So here in this case, in all these electrical appliances, we observe that the electrical energy is getting converted into rotational energy, or you can say rotational kinetic energy. It is a form of mechanical energy. So if in your exam it comes electrical energy, it is converted into rotational energy, rotational kinetic energy, or mechanical energy. All these three things are same. Don't get confused कि teacher taught me rotational kinetic energy, but it is written here mechanical energy. So rotational kinetic energy, it is a form of mechanical energy. You have already studied in previous standards kinetic energy and potential energy. So these two forms of energy, they are form of mechanical energy. They are just the some names of them. Okay. So as you can see here, in the electric mixer, blade is present over here, and when we pass the electricity, these blades, they rotate. They convert the electrical energy into rotational kinetic energy, because the blades, they are rotating, and as they are moving, kinetic energy is present. So there it is rotational kinetic energy. So a device which changes electrical energy into mechanical energy is known as electric motor. Now we are going to study about motor in detail, its construction and its working. Okay, so let's go on. Now the principle, on which principle this electric motor works. So we just studied force exerted on a current carrying conductor kept in a magnetic field. So it is based on the same law. A current carrying conductor, when it is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences force. So you have to remember this principle. On this principle, the electric motor works. So you can see the picture here. There is a magnetic field generated by two magnets, north pole and the other side south pole. So these two magnets, they are generating magnetic field from north to south direction, and in between this magnetic field there is a conductor kept, and this conductor is connected to the battery with the help of connecting wires. When the electricity starts flowing in this conductor, you can see when the electricity starts flowing in this conductor, you can see this magnetic field of the magnet, it exerts force on this conductor, and because of which this conductor starts moving. This is the principle of electric motor. On this principle, electric motor works. Now let's see the construction of electric motor. So in the construction of electric motor, you can see the first one is a armature coil. You can see there is a rectangular armature coil. It is made up of conductor, rectangular loop of copper wire having resistive coating. Then strong magnets, two strong magnets are used, basically horseshoe make type of magnets they are used here to develop the magnetic field from north to south direction, and in the magnetic field this rectangular loop is kept. Then next one is we need split rings. Split rings, all of you know rings. We wear rings in our hand. It is circular in shape. But here we are not using the ring in a circular shape. It is used as split ring. So if you break the ring into two parts, it is called as split ring. So here split rings are used. There is a circular split ring. You can see it is a dark reddish in color, but it is splitted in between. You can see the gap here. So here split rings are used. The two halves of the ring X and Y, and it is represented by X and Y, have a resistive coating on the inner side. On the inner side of this, you can see there is a resistive coating which is shown by light color, and conducting surface on the other side. But the outer surface of this ring, it is conducting. That means it can conduct electricity. So you have to remember these parts. When it comes in your exam, you have to write down in this way point wise the construction of electric motor. Then next thing is here carbon brushes. Two stationary carbon brushes E and F. E and F you can see here, यहाँ पर it is carbon brush. Yeah. It is attached. It is not fixed to the split ring. It just touches the split rings. It is connected to the outer side of the split ring, but it is not fixed. It is just touching the split rings. The next one is required battery. The battery supplies the electric current to the armature coil. This is the battery. You can see this is battery and this is key. Understood? So this is all about the construction. Now let's start the working of electric motor. How it works. So the same principle, when an electric conductor it is kept in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. So here also our this conductor, you can see this is the conductor. When the current will start flowing in the circuit, this will be experience a force, and because of this force this armature coil it will start rotating. Let's see how it rotates. So once the circuit is completed, the current flows in the branch AB of the loop from A to B through the carbon brushes E and F. Now if you look at the picture, this is the magnet, north and south pole. Then this is the armature coil represented by the purple line, and then you can see here it is connected with a wire, and these are the red colored split rings. You can see it is splitted in between It is divided into two parts. Two split rings are present which are represented by X and Y, and then you can see here black colored carbon brushes. These carbon brushes E and F, they are labeled like this, and they are connected to the battery. So in the exam, when you are going to draw this diagram, you have to take care while labeling it. You can't disturb the labeling, because if you are going to disturb the labelings here in your explanation will also be changed. So take care that. So what happens here, when we on the switch, the current starts flowing from A to B, C to D. You can see the direction of the flowing current, A to B and C to D. And from C to D it comes from to Y, then to the brush F, and then again it completes the circuit, it reaches the battery. Since here the direction of current is from A to B, and the magnetic field is from now north pole to south pole, with the help of Fleming's left hand rule we can find out in which the direction the force will be exerted on the conductor and in which direction the coil will rotate. You can see here we have used the left hand rule. Here you can see this central finger, it shows the direction of current. You can see the current direction of current, it is from A to B, and magnetic field it shows the direction of it is shown by the forefinger. You can see from north pole to the south pole, the fingers are lying in that direction, and the thumb, it is downward. That means कि if the current is flowing from A to B, the force exerted on this arm is towards the downward direction. So you can see with this green color I have shown the direction of force. So this arm will go downwards, it will move towards the down. In the same way, if we are going to find out the direction of force on this arm CD, you can see the direction of current in this is opposite to that of the AB. So if we are going to use left hand rule, we will find it out that on arm CD, the direction of force will be upside. So because of which you can see on arm AB, the direction of current is downwards, and on CD it is upwards. Because of which the coil will start rotating anti-clockwise. It will start rotating anti-clockwise. Correct? Thus the loop ABCD and axle part rotating anti-clockwise direction. So as they are rotating anti-clockwise direction, what you will see, the arm AB it will go downwards and arm CD it will come upwards, because they are rotating anti-clockwise. But when they will reach at a you can say vertical position, when they will reach at the vertical position, you can see here the split rings, it comes upside and the downward side, and the contact between the brush and split rings break. So if the contact between the split rings and the brush it breaks, the current will stop flowing in the circuit, and because of which if there is no current flowing in the circuit, there will be no force exerted on the circuit. But the loop it doesn't stops. Why it doesn't stops? Because we studied about inertia. Because of inertia of motion, this loop it continues to rotate, and it will again come in this position. But now the arm AB is on this side and arm CD is on the other side, and because of which the direction of current now in these two arms are also changed. So after half rotation, the two halves of the split rings X and Y come in contact with the carbon bushes F and E. Now again when they reach this position, these split rings again they come in contact with the brushes, and again the circuit completes and current starts flowing in the conductor. So again there is a force exerted on the branch DC. Now on branch DC the force will be exerted on the downward, and on the branch AB it will be exerted upwards, and because of which the loops continues to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. After every half rotation this happens. So what we can see here, thus the current in the loop is reversed after each half rotation. After each half rotation, the direction of current in the loop is changing. How it is changing? As you can see here, in the beginning we saw that ABCD in this direction the current was flowing. At that time, this end of split ring was in touch with AB, right? So it was connected with the positive end of the battery, but after rotation, this AB, it reaches to the position of CD, and CD reaches to the position of AB. In that case, this split ring, which was in positive terminal before, now after rotation it comes to the negative terminal. That means now the direction after every half rotation is changing. The direction of current is changing. So why the connecting wires, one more question arises here, why the connecting wires are not connected to the brushes and not the split rings directly? You can see here why these brushes, they are in between these two. Why the wires, they are not connected to the split rings directly? Because if the split rings are connected directly to the battery, what will happen after the rotation, after every rotation, along with the rotation of this armature coil, the wires, they will also rotate, and because of this the wires, they will get twisted. So in order to avoid this twisting of wires, we use split rings, and these split rings, they are kept attached with it. They are just touching the brushes and they are not fixed to it, so that they are rotating, but the brushes, they are fixed at their places. They are not rotating with the split rings. Now what is the function of split ring? Here you can see this is a detailed structure of split ring. They are arranged like this. A ring is split into two parts, and these are the two carbon brushes. These carbon brushes, they are just touching the split rings. These split rings, they are also called as commutators. Sometimes in exams it comes with the name commutator, and it is asked what is the function of commutator in an electric motor. So the function of commutator is to reverse the direction of current flowing through the coil after every half rotation of the coil. So after half rotation, this part of the ring will come to the this side, and this part of ring will come to this side. So because of which the direction of current in each coil changes after half rotation, and due to this the coil continues to rotate in the same direction. The coil continues to rotate in the same direction, but the direction of current, it is changing after every half rotation because of the commutator present here, that is the split rings. And now what are the ways to increase the rotation or speed of a motor? So by increasing the magnetic field strength, if there is more stronger magnetic field, more force will be exerted on the armature coil, and the rotation of motor will be faster. Then increase the current, it is directly proportional to the flow of current, more faster will be the rotation of motor. Then increase area of the coil, then increase number of turns in the coil. Exactly, if you saw any motor at your home, the coils, they are not exactly like this. You can see we have used only one coil, but here multiple coils are used, many coils are used made up of copper wire. So by increasing the number of turns or number of coils in the motor, we can increase the capacity, or you can say the efficiency of motor. So you have seen, if you might have seen the such kind of wires, they are present in an armature coil, and this is the axle, and we attach, if we attach anything to this axle and we pass electricity, this axle, it is starts rotating. Okay, now there are two types of motors depending on what kind of electrical energy source they are using. First one is AC, the second one is DC. AC means alternating current, DC means direct current. While both AC and DC motors serve the same function of converting electrical energy into mechanical energy, they are powered, constructed and controlled differently. The most basic difference is the power source. Direct current, that means the current which is always flows in the same direction, and this kind of current normally we get it from the cells and batteries. Cells and batteries, they are the source of DC current, whereas AC current, basically the current flowing in our home, in our domestic circuit, it is alternating current. You can see here The difference between AC and DC motor, the difference between DC and AC motor is only the energy source. Only the energy source is difference here. Rest of the whole parts are same. The same armature coil, the same magnetic field, north and south pole, the same split rings. Only the energy source is different. In case of AC motors, we use AC as a source of energy, and in case of DC motors, we use battery or cell as a source of energy. And along with that, such as batteries, DC power, or an AC to DC power converter is also used, which can convert AC current to DC current. This is the basic difference here. Now let's revise what we have studied in this module. We studied force acts on a current carrying conductor when placed in a magnetic field. Then direction of force depends on the direction of current and magnetic field. Then we studied Fleming's hand rule. If we know the direction of magnetic field and current flowing in the conductor, we can find out the direction of force exerted on the conductor. Then an electric motor, it is an electrical device that converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. An electric motor, it works on the principle that if an electric current is allowed to flow in a conductor placed in a magnetic field, the conductor experiences a force. Depending on the input voltage supply, electric motors, they are of two types, DC motors and AC motors. A simple DC motor consists of a U-shaped magnet, an armature, split rings, carbon brushes, a key, and a DC voltage. And in an AC motor, it consists of a U-shaped magnet, an armature coil, slip rings here. In place of slip rings are there, carbon brushes, a key, and a AC voltage is present. When electric current passes through the armature of an electric motor, the armature starts rotating. The action of an electric motor is basically the reverse to that of a generator. You might know about generator in next part of our chapter. We will study about the generator also. Generator, it converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. It works just opposite to the working of motor. Okay, so anyone have any doubt in this chapter? Otherwise, we will move on to the evaluation part. Yes, raise your hands if you have any doubt. Yes, you can unmute yourself. Yes, what doubt you have? Three students has raised their hand.
मैम
Yes.
मैम एक बार इलेक्ट्रिक मोटर और इलेक्ट्रिक जनरेटर का डिफरेंस बताओ ना.
So difference you will study afterwards when you will study the construction and working of generator. Basically, what is the main difference here is in electric motor we convert electrical energy into mechanical energy, and in electric generator we are generating electricity. That's why it is called generator. We are producing electricity from mechanical energy, right? So this is the basic difference. Rest of the differences you will study in rest of the parts of the chapter, because after this the next topic is your generator, so you have to study the construction and working of the generator also.
ओके मिस,
So
थैंक
first
यू.
of all, we will finish that part, and after that we will get the difference between them clearly. So the basic difference is the conversion of energy from one form to the another form. Okay. Okay. Then Ruchika, what doubt you have?
Ma'am,
Unmute yourself.
ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, ma'am, I understand the chemical and mechanical.
You speak up properly, but I can't hear you properly. Your voice is very low. Speak up loudly. Yes. If anyone have doubt, yes. Okay. Unmute and ask what doubt you have. Unmute yourself. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, the last one which you have explained that I didn't understand. I didn't understood
Which part?
that, ma'am.
Construction,
You,
working.
yeah, that South Motor not.
Sorry, working of electric motor you didn't understood. Hello? Hello? Yes? What you didn't
Yes, ma'am.
understood?
Yeah, working of it.
Working of electric motor.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Okay, so in working of electric motor, what I explained that when the current starts flowing in the conductor, the current in branch AB it is from A to B, but in the side CD it is from C to D. So this is the direction of flow of current, and the direction of magnetic field it is from north to south. Both are perpendicular to each other. So by using left hand rule, when we find out the direction of flowing current in the direction of force of the conductor, we find it out that the force exerted on AB is towards the downward direction, and the force exerted on branch CD is towards upward direction. And because of this armature coil it starts rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So after rotating half, completing the half rotation, what happens? The armature coil it comes in a vertical position. So in that case, when the coil it comes in vertical position, here the split ring it is also rotating along with that armature coil. So at that condition, you can see that the connection between the brushes and this coil, you can say this is split ring, it breaks. They are not in contact with it, and because of which the circuit breaks and current it stops flowing in the conductor, and because of which there is no force exerted on the conductor. So the conductor should stop moving, but it doesn't happen. Why? Because of inertia of motion, this conductor is continues to rotate till it acquires again the same position. But when it acquires this position, the arms now they are interchanged. The arm which was on the left hand side first, AB, now it is on the right hand side, and the arm CD which was on the right hand side, now it is on the left hand side. So because of which the direction of flow of current in AB and CD are reversed, and because of which again the direction of force is reversed. So in branch CD, now the force is exerted in downward direction, and in AB now it is exerted in upward direction, and because of which this armature coil it keeps on rotating continuously. And if we attach anything with this axle, that thing will also start rotating. For example, fan, our ceiling fan, our table fans, this is the whole motor. This is the whole motor, and this axle it is outside and on which the blades of fans are fixed. So when electricity is passed through it, these armature coils they rotate, and when they rotate along with them, this axle is attached with the blade. The blade it also rotates. So in this way the motor it converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Okay, I hope now everyone's doubt is clear. Now move on to the evaluation part. Question number 1 is the device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy is called. Yes, Raj Sharma, give the answer.
Miss electric motor.
Electric motor, very good. Now question number 2, find the odd word out. Loudspeaker, microphone, electric motor, magnet. Yes,
Teacher, can I?
yes,
Magnet.
magnet. Okay. Now third question, name the two types of electric current.
Teacher, can I?
Okay, give. You want to?
Alternating current and direct current.
Yes, very good. Alternating current and direct current, or you can say AC and DC. Now question number 4, the force in a current carrying conductor kept in a magnetic field is when the direction of current is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field.
More.
Yes, or you can say maximum will be the perfect. Now question number 5, in Fleming's left hand rule, thumb shows the direction of.
Magnetic field.
No,
Direction of the magnetic field.
no, it is left hand rule.
Miss,
This
that
Force.
force on
Miss
conductor.
Force.
Yes, It shows the
Force.
force or action of force on the
Force on
conductor.
the conductor. Yes, miss.
Okay, question number 6. The commutator changes the direction of dash flowing in the coil after every half rotation.
Each half turn.
No,
Magnetic field.
no.
Current.
Yes, current. The commutator changes the direction of current flowing in the coil after every half rotation. Okay, so that's all for today's class. If anyone have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll wind up the lecture. Yes, no doubts.
No,
Okay
miss.
then. Thank you. Take bye.
Bye, miss.
Bye. Bye. Okay, ma'am, your lecture is finished, ma'am.